Right, let's get cracking. Coming up, it's another Loco repair challenge. All these engines have been broken, mistreated, or literally just left to rot. I'm going to try and fix them up so that these forgotten models can be enjoyed once again. But there is a catch. Each repair job has a time limit, and this is decided by the Time-O-Matic machine. If the time runs out before the repairs are complete, then the engine will go to the evil scrapman.
I am the scrapman.
This season, the engines are in worse condition than ever before, and the time limits are tighter than ever before, so this time my skills will truly be put to the test. Welcome to Salvage or Scrap. Let's take a look at this season's remaining pathetic pullers, shoddy shunters, and disfigured diesels. Today's specimen came in this lovely Will's Finecast box, which shows a photo of a very handsome looking kit-built Loco on the front. In contrast with that, this is today's actual locomotive. It cost me £22, and it's fair to say this hasn't been assembled to the highest standard. Now obviously a modeller has built this locomotive personally, so I don't want to be too nasty about the way that this loco has been put together, but it's so horrific that I think I'm going to anyway. It's absolutely chuffing horrendous and quite possibly the worst ever kit-built loco I have seen. The paint is layered on so thickly in places that the detail is completely lost. The buffer beam painting is particularly bad, and I love the Loco to tender coupling, which consists of a screw facing upwards and a loop on the tender just hooks around that screw. The rear coupling has broken off to add insult to injury, but on the plus side, a fine etched number plate has been plastered over what looks like a badly hand painted one, so it has some quality features after all. It looks like the handrail has come loose and is wonky, but no, it is fixed in position like that. That is how whoever built this kit wanted this thing to look. Given the state of the bodywork, I don't have high hopes for the performance, but let's test it anyway and see if it works. Oh gosh, amazingly it does seem to work. It's not happy about it, and it does keep sort of stopping, but if I coax it a little bit, yeah, it does seem to be moving. That's the good news. The bad news is that this runs about as well as the kit has been built, and by that I mean not very well at all. Very slow and laboured, keeps stopping, doesn't sustain a run even on high power as it is now, so it needs some serious TLC. So this is another dreadful locomotive, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think there's a lot I can do for this model cosmetically. I think it's always going to look terrible. However, I am hoping to fix the mechanism. So Time-O-Matic, how long have I got for this project? Wow, 22 minutes. I was not kidding about the tighter time limits for this season. Anyway, that's not a lot of time, so as always, I need a plan. The first thing I got to figure out is how to get the body off this thing. It's such a bodged kit that I wouldn't be surprised if it was just glued on, and that will be a problem. The chassis though seems to be a triang chassis, and obviously I do know what I'm doing with those, so if I can get to the chassis and it hasn't been bodged around too much, that's another question mark, then hopefully this will be quite simple, but I don't know yet, I haven't seen the chassis, so let me get started, please wish me luck. The rules are that I'm not allowed to go shopping for any replacement parts. I can use parts that I already have in my own stores, or I can 3D print brand new ones, but anything made this way must be printed within the time limit. Right, I have a confession, and that is, I hate kit-built Locos. Or rather, I hate working on other people's kit-built Locos, because more often than not, they're built with some degree of bodginess. And today, in particular, being under a time limit, that I think is really going to stress me out. So, wish me luck. I've only got 22 minutes for this, so I don't even know if this is possible, but I'm going to give this a try. So, Timer-matic, 22 minutes, please. 3, 2, 1, start. The tender is going to one side. It has no pickups and it doesn't even have metal wheels. So I might just leave that alone entirely and worry about cleaning the wheels only if everything else is done. Usually, body removal is extremely straightforward. Professional manufacturers normally make Loco bodies very simple to remove because simple equals cheaper. But kit builders don't have the same motivation to keep things simple. Alright, so I've undone those screws. The body does not seem to be coming off. And of course, the body isn't budging. There seems to be some sort of bolt, but I don't know if that is what's actually holding the Loco body on. Right, let me get the rest of these screws out. If in doubt, take out all of the screws. I know for a fact though that these screws do not hold the bodywork. Although, I think there might be some more screws here. Oh my god. This is why I hate kit-built Locos. I hate them. Right, so the base keeper plate has come off. Oh, for goodness sake. So I've got the axles now. How on earth is this chassis attached? I don't see. It seems to be fixed on at the back somehow. I've spotted 2 more screws that have been painted over, and these are the only 2 screws that I haven't taken out. Oh god, I hate kit-built Locos. I've got one of those screws to come out. Come on! I'm going to be so embarrassed if I fail this challenge because I couldn't get the Loco body off. That would be awful. I've had 2 minutes and I haven't got the body off yet. And I've got to get this thing back on at some point. Right, so I released those screws and still nothing has worked. Crikey, what do I do? I've spotted a nut hiding inside the cab. It's painted green, which makes it hard to spot, and it's devilishly difficult to undo because it's right inside the cab. But I'm wondering if this is what's holding the body on. And let me just see if I can undo this nut. Oh, this is awful. I hate kit-built Locos. It's proving very difficult to gain proper access to the nut. I think it might be working. I think this nut may be coming loose. With a lot of coaxing, the irritating nut seems to be coming loose. But how I'm going to get this back on at the end, I have no idea. Come on, get off there. Get off. Stupid little nut. Alright, is the body going to come off? Yes. Oh god, it is. Okay, I don't even want to know what that body is like. I don't want to see it again. Let's get these axles out. Let's give the chassis a bit of a clean up. So this does have bearings, which tells me this is an E2 chassis of all things. Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? So it's not one of the older Triang chassis. Very fascinating, I'm sure. It's also a lot more finicky than the other Triang chassis, which seems absolutely typical, doesn't it, given the quality of this kit. I'm not surprised that whoever created this monstrosity decided to use one of the least convenient chassis available. So whoever you were, well done for that, and thank you so bloody much. Let's get the motor out, let's give this motor a service. This is the standard motor that was fitted to almost all Hornby and Triang Locos from the period, so servicing this thing should be quite simple. Even the brushes have been painted. I guess that's because the actual motor is visible from outside the model, which is a horrible feature. Finesse was not a consideration, I suspect, when this kit was built. And am I a little bit overly bitter towards it at the moment? Yes, but that's because I have 17 minutes to make this pile of junk work, and that does not sound very likely at all. I don't know if I'm going to have time to scale this armature. I might not do because it actually doesn't look too bad. Okay, well, the motor seems nice and free. How is the magnet? The magnet is terrible, absolutely terrible, so I'm going to remagnetize it. But there's a problem. My remagnetizer isn't plugged in, and I've borrowed its cable for something else. So now I'm fighting to get it plugged back in. Why didn't I pre-plan this? I don't know. Okay, should have power to this remagnetizer now. Let's try. Yeah, got it. With the magnet back to full strength, the motor should be able to work efficiently again. Thing is, with some of this stuff, there's no way to rush. That's the problem. So you kind of have to just grin and bear it with those bits. a little bit of lubrication on the motor, which I suspect it desperately needs, and let's get this thing back together again. And that should be the motor complete. So now I'm going to reassemble the actual chassis with the axles and such, and the bearings need to be guided into position. Right, lubrication. Is this a free rolling wheel set? It's gotta be. Yeah, it isn't bad, it isn't bad. It's not brilliant, but I think it will do. Okay, let's get the base back on. So I'm just gonna put some oil onto the crank pins. One of the crank pins has been bodged on for some reason. Look at that, that looks dreadful. That might be why this isn't working properly, because usually these chassis are okay. Okay, so here are the pickups. The pickups actually look fairly clean. To be fair, the Loco, while horribly built, that is true, it's not filthy dirty, you know? I've seen a lot worse. In fact, last episode was a lot worse.
With each part serviced and cleaned, it's time to reattach the motor to the chassis, ready for the first test.
Ready? Let's give it some gentle juice. Oh my God, you are joking.
The motor seems to run, but there's a major problem with the driving gear.
The damn driving gear is loose on the shaft. The motor is turning the gear, but not the axles. Oh my God, I've got to get the base keeper plate off again.
My only hope is to get some super glue to the gear to help it grip onto the axle, but it's a risky business. Get any super glue onto the nearby bearings and the Loco will seize up, never to work again.
Hopefully that doesn't mean that this gear has split. If there's a split in that gear, I am absolutely finished. There's nothing I can do about that if there is. Okay, so let's try and reassemble. I just have to pray at this point that the glue will not get to the bearings. Right, for the second time, let's get this base keeper plate back in position. I suspect what's probably happened is that gear was a little bit loose in the first place, and because I've come along and oiled it, that has made the gear slip.
After every single step, these pickups keep coming out of place, and every time they do, it's wasting valuable time.
Okay, now what can I do? I suppose I better try and start putting the body back on, and then I'll try and clean the wheels and such when the body's on, just to give that glue as long as possible to set. This awful body, really hate this body. Okay, let's put the front screw back on. I got 7 minutes. Actually, it's actually not going too badly. I can afford to sit and wait for a minute, I suppose, and let that glue dry.
Ideally, I'd want to give the glue a couple of hours to dry before testing the Loco, but I'm yet to clean the wheels, so I've got no choice but to get it running almost immediately.
Okay, here we go. It's shorting. Oh my God, it is shorting.
This is a disaster. Now that the body's back on, the Loco is completely dead, and it's short-circuiting my power supply.
Okay, why is it shorting?
I'm inspecting the Loco, but I can't see anything wrong at the moment, so I have no idea what's causing the short.
Right, the motor's running and the Loco is moving forwards, which means at the moment it doesn't look like the gear is slipping. But can I get the body back on without the short circuit returning? That's the question. Let's try again. Is it going to work? No.
It's no use. With the body back on, the short circuit has returned.
Oh God, what is shorting now? I haven't been able to clean the wheels yet and time is seriously running short. If I can't figure it out, then I'm going to fail. I do not want to fail this. I think I can see. I think I can see what it is.
This time, I think I've worked it out. There's a hole in some of the insulating material around the motor wires.
I need some plastic. Let's use some plastic from this cotton bud container.
When the body's fitted, these wires short against the motor, so I just need to insulate the wires, and quickly.
Right, I've put some plastic in there to stop the two touching each other. Hopefully that will do it. Yeah, there was a bundle of wires that had some masking tape as an insulator. Goodness knows, again, the person who did this, goodness knows what they were thinking. But I think that was causing it to short. Yes, it was, because the Loco's working now. Sort of. It's not a great runner, but I'm just going to have to put it back together. And in 3 minutes, I've got to try and hopefully clean those wheels as well. Right, now, because I took some screws out that I shouldn't have done, it's now proceeding to fall apart on me.
Again, that nut at the back is causing me problems. Because all of the fittings are inside the Loco cab, it's too difficult to get proper access, so I've decided to leave it alone and rely on the front screw to hold the body in place.
What have I done? I should not have taken those screws out, because now this piece that holds the back of the body on is not in position. I think I'm going to leave that for the time being. Let's just get some juice to this. Oh no, one of the pickups has come out.
And yet again, those pesky pickups have come out of place.
Body off again. Got to get the body off again because one of the pickups has come loose. That stupid pickup's got to go back in position. Right, power there and power to one of the other pickups. Shorting again. Why is it shorting? It just keeps shorting out. What's happening to it?
This time, I have no idea what's causing the short.
Oh no, the gear's come loose again. Although it keeps kind of biting. I've got 1 minute left and I still haven't cleaned the wheels. And the gear is slipping and everything. Got 1.5 minutes to put this back together. Maybe I could just get one of these annoying screws in. Maybe I could just get one of them in.
With just 1 minute left, I'm trying in vain to reattach the body mountings inside the cab. I've managed to get one of the screws in place, but there's just no time for the other, so it'll just have to do.
Right, I've got one more chance, I believe, to put the body back on. If it doesn't work this time, it's over. 30 seconds. I hate kit-built Locos, folks. I hate them with a passion. Right, let's just sink this screw. Maybe put the coupling on, maybe? I've got 16 seconds. Where is the glue? 10 seconds. Let's get this coupling on at least. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. That did not go well. I've got one screw that has not gone back in. So the Loco, I'm not sure if it works. I've got to keep my hands off it. I'm not touching this now until it goes back to the workshop. Maybe there's a 20% chance this will work. There's a 80% chance I'm going to try this and it's going to short circuit and it will go to the scrap man. I don't like to lose these challenges, as you know, and I don't know what the outcome of this will be, but I have a feeling it will not be good. Okay, well, let's go and find out.
Right, the kit-built collet is back in the workshop after the full 22 minutes of repair work. I'm about to make the final inspection, but here's a reminder of the Loco's condition to begin with. Cosmetically, the Loco did and still does suck for obvious reasons. It was badly built and even more badly painted, but the Loco was also basically dead. It was only really able to briefly twitch its wheels, far from a smooth motion. And here is the final result. There wasn't time to do anything at all to the cosmetics, and I'm not even sure what I would have done given more time.
As for performance, I doubt it's going to be good news, unfortunately, but I've got to try it, so let's initiate that final test.
Oh my goodness, this Loco is working. This project was very touch and go, and yet she is extremely lively.
Right, in reverse too. Yeah, it is actually working. That is a real surprise. Wow. Well, that's totally unexpected. I thought there was a fair chance that this would fail, but the Loco is running, it works, and therefore it has to pass this test. Wow, I am amazed by that. That is not the result I was expecting, but I can officially pronounce this Loco salvaged and safe from the evil Scrapman. Let's add it onto the leaderboard, and as you can see, I managed this even faster than the D49, so for the time being, this is at the top. Amazingly, the Loco is now fit to return to the rails, and there it goes. And if you'd like a chance to own this model, then bids for it are now open on eBay, and you can visit the auction via the link in the description. I should point out this is a very badly built kit Loco. Don't expect a lot from it, and I certainly can't make any guarantees on its reliability moving forward. For now though, that's job done, and I'll see you next time on Salvage or Scrap.